When we talk about colonizing other planets, we almost always look at Mars, since this planet is the most similar to Earth. It has one day with 23 hours. It has a solid surface on which to build houses. We know that it has water deposits, frozen, and an average temperature that is bearable for humans. But did you know that there is another celestial body beyond Mars that could have very prosperous conditions for a future human colony outside our planet? That celestial body we are talking about is Titan, Saturn's largest moon. But could Titan be a place where humanity can settle in the future? Why would it be a better place than Mars to live and thrive? Stay with us to find out. The answer will surprise you. What would a future human colony on Titan be like? The early Earth. Since they began studying the Titan satellite, scientists have found that this distant world has interesting characteristics not found anywhere else in the solar system. And even many scientists believe it is similar to what our planet was like billions of years ago. Let's start with what we already know. Water. Titan is believed to have water in various forms. This satellite is known for having a dense atmosphere and rich organic compounds. In particular, lakes and seas have been identified on Titan's surface, but they are not composed primarily of liquid water like bodies of water on Earth. Instead of water, those bodies of liquid contain hydrocarbons such as methane and ethane. However, it is thought that there could be an underground ocean of salty liquid water beneath Titan's icy crust. This hypothesis is based on images of Titan's surface, indicating some type of geological activity that renews the surface and covers it with ice. If the ice on the surface of Titan is recently formed, it means that there is a source of material that is renewing it, that is, underground liquid water. Any human colony will need water. The fact that there are water reserves on Titan means that future astronauts in charge of colonizing that world will not have problems obtaining the vital liquid. An inexhaustible source of fuel. One of the things for which Titan is known for is that it has an immense amount of hydrocarbons, mainly methane, which is found in the three states of matter: in a solid state, like ice that gives shape to mountains and dunes, in a gaseous state spread throughout its atmosphere, and even in a liquid state in rivers, lakes, and seas distributed throughout the surface. In addition, it is the only world besides Earth where liquids can be found spread on its surface, which gives it an advantage compared to other bodies like Mars, which are deserts. Future humans could use the resources on Titan to obtain energy in different forms, which include chemical, nuclear, wind, solar, and hydroelectric energy. Electrical energy could be produced using chemical power plants that add hydrogen to acetylene in a process known as hydrogeneration. It could also be harnessed with turbines in large methane seas such as the Kraken Mare. This is a place on Titan where Saturn's tidal force causes up to a meter of tidal change for every Titan day. This tidal difference on the satellite could be used to generate electricity in a process that here on Earth is known as tidal energy, the energy that takes advantage of the movement of the tides to move turbines and produce electricity. Low radiation. Titan has a nitrogen atmosphere that is 50% thicker than Earth's. This means that many molecules in the atmosphere absorb radiation from outer space. In addition, humans who will inhabit a future colony on Titan have extra protection, Saturn's magnetosphere, which extends beyond Titan's orbit and acts as a natural protection against radiation, an advantage Mars does not have. Advantages of colonizing Titan and not Mars. Now that we know what we can expect if we decide to build a human colony on Titan in the future, the next question would be, what advantages does Titan offer over the most favorable candidate, Mars? Some of the advantages that Titan has over Mars are the dense atmosphere and organic resources. Titan's dense atmosphere presents a unique opportunity for colonization, as it can offer an additional layer of protection against cosmic and solar radiation, unlike the thin Martian atmosphere. Furthermore, the composition of Titan's atmosphere, rich in nitrogen and with the presence of methane and ethane, means that a future human colony will always have at its disposal essential organic resources to develop artifacts related to biotechnology, which would be beneficial for the 3D printers. A human colony with a 3D printer that could take advantage of all the resources available on Titan's surface could print virtually anything. Additionally, these compounds could serve as fuel and construction materials. Dwellings could be made of plastic produced from unlimited resources harvested on the surface, and future astronauts could quickly settle in domes inflated with hot oxygen and nitrogen. The ease of construction on Titan would allow a base to be created relatively quickly. Although Titan's extreme temperature represents a challenge, combining a dense atmosphere and organic resources could provide a solid foundation for colonizing and scientific research, opening new possibilities for the sustainable development of a human presence beyond Earth in a fully pressurized base with unlimited resources. Abundance of liquids. The presence of liquids in lakes and seas on the surface of Titan represents a unique advantage for colonization. Although these liquid bodies consist primarily of hydrocarbons such as methane and ethane rather than water, they could be crucial in sustaining a colony. These hydrocarbons could be used as resources for fuel production and power generation, and as raw materials for industry. The ability to harness these liquids rather than relying exclusively on water could simplify industrial processes and provide an alternative and abundant source of essential liquid resources. This would significantly contribute to the self-sufficiency and sustainability of a colony on Titan, offering a unique perspective on exploring and exploiting resources outside of Earth. More moderate temperatures. Despite the extremely low temperatures on Titan, which hover around -292 degrees Fahrenheit, its environment presents an advantage in terms of more moderate temperatures compared to the drastic fluctuations of temperatures on Mars. Temperatures on Mars vary considerably between day and night due to the planet's thin atmosphere, which does not retain heat as efficiently as Earth's denser atmosphere. During the day in equatorial regions, temperatures can reach around 68 degrees Fahrenheit under ideal conditions, but in polar regions and at night, temperatures can drop dramatically. At night and in colder regions, temperatures on Mars can drop to around -100 degrees Fahrenheit or even lower. These extreme fluctuations represent one of the more significant challenges for the exploration and eventual colonization of Mars, since infrastructure and technological systems must be designed to withstand these thermal variations. Titan's more stable temperatures would simplify the thermal management of a colony, reducing the need for intensive heating and cooling systems. Thermal consistency would facilitate the planning and construction of habitable structures and technological systems, optimizing efficiency and energy consumption. Although extreme temperatures remain a challenge, Titan's relative climatic stability provides a more predictable environment for colonial life and operations, which could facilitate human adaptation and the implementation of long-term sustainable infrastructure compared to the more variable environment of Mars. But although Titan has some advantages over Mars, there are also enormous challenges that we must solve before wanting to establish a colony on that distant satellite of Saturn. Problems to solve before building a colony. Temperature. Although the temperatures on Titan are not as fluctuating as those on Mars, they are still extremely low temperatures, usually around -292 degrees Fahrenheit. Maintaining an operational base in such conditions would require advanced thermal insulation technologies, efficient heating systems, and cold-resistant materials. Consider that thermal management would be crucial to maintain the habitability of the base and the operation of essential equipment and systems. If something were to go wrong or the heating system broke down, it must be fixed quickly. Otherwise, everyone inside the base could die in a few minutes. Water. Another big problem on Titan is the lack of water. Although some research suggests that Titan could have large reserves of frozen water, accessing it will be challenging. If the water is in the form of ice, it will be difficult to extract since at -292 degrees Fahrenheit, the ice is as hard as a rock. And once inside the base, a lot of energy would have to be invested in defrosting it. On the other hand, the advantage is that this problem will be something that astronauts will have to face only once, since once they get water in liquid form, they can use water reuse systems like those used on the International Space Station to reuse all the water they use indefinitely. And that's it. Distance. The biggest problem we face in building a colony on Titan will be distance. Titan orbits Saturn, and this gaseous planet is an average of 888 million miles from Earth. This is at least 6 times further than the average distance between Mars and Earth. This would make all colony construction work on Titan difficult, as any plan to send resources or supplies to a colony on this moon of Saturn would take many years. In addition to the fact that the construction of a base would also take a long time, since initially all the materials and supplies would come from Earth, sending all the materials and resources for the construction of a colony on Titan could take many decades, and that could stop any serious plan of colonizing this moon. The future human colony. Now that we have contemplated all the factors that will influence the construction of a human colony on Titan, we can begin to envision this. Considering that Titan's atmosphere is very dense, but at the same time its gravity is weak compared to Earth's gravity, a base on this moon must be built far from Titan's lakes, since these could cause flooding, or landslides on which the first bases are built. A good option would be the area that scientists call Xanadu. It's a region or plateau composed of water ice and highly reflective, which makes it contrast with the darker regions located at lower elevations. It was previously believed to contain liquid seas of hydrocarbons, but it is now known to be plains covered with hydrocarbon dunes. This region has enormous water reserves in the form of ice that could be heated to obtain water in a liquid state. It is also close to enormous hydrocarbon dunes that could easily be used as a fuel to provide heat to the colony. Finally, it is located in an elevated area, so it would not suffer from flooding caused by methane rains. The shape or structure of the first bases on Titan could be of 2 types. The first option is to make them underground, taking advantage of the fact that the settlements would be on an ice plateau. It would be relatively easy to mold underground bases to our liking. The second option would be to use Titan's low gravity to build bases with tall, dome-shaped structures. In both cases, the bases would not have to worry about radiation or cold, since they would have an unlimited reserve of fuel to operate generators that produce heat and small magnetic fields that protect them from radiation all the time. Of course, the humans who colonize this moon of Saturn will only be able to carry out activities inside the structures that are built, since the temperatures outside will be too low. Finally, we must consider that this is just a consideration of how the first bases could be built to form a colony of humans on Titan. Still, there is no proposal currently that gives us a clear answer as to what that would look like. For now, the only thing we can do is use our knowledge about Titan to try to estimate what the future scenarios will be. Perhaps some of the ideas mentioned in this video can help the engineers and scientists in charge of building the next colony of humans on Titan in the distant future. Now it's your turn. Our viewer, we want your opinion, so tell us. Do you think that one day humanity will be able to build a colony on Titan? Let us know in the comments.